Test, here we go. Are we recording? We're recording. What up, Internet? J.O. here from Barley Hops and Tabletops, and today we are going to dive into the stats of the Blink Blade. I think it was our third retired character. So we'll take a look at all the stats, and we'll see exactly how the Blink Blade compares to other characters and what they did good at. An overall super fun character, incredible movement, great initiative weaving, really good damage, a lot of multiple attacks. Just a fun character. Our Blink Blade player loved it, didn't want to retire, wants to start another one. So that's how much that they enjoyed this character. So what you're looking at here, top table here, is basically going to show your levels. We recorded all the data for levels 2 through 6 here, and then this bottom pivot table here is going to show you compared to the average, so you can compare everything apples to apples, average of all characters combined, so you can see if they're above or below average. So starting with initiative overall for the Blink Blade's journey, 35. You can see from levels 2 to 6 they actually got a little bit faster, a little bit better than average, which is good. That means that even with the initiative weaving, you're kind of going fast more often than you're going slow, or at least our Blink Blade player was, especially using cards like Drive Recharge. And I know that the script, if you looked at our other script, after the first rest with Drive Recharge and 2 slow rests in a row, or 2 slow turns in a row, our Blink Blade was coming out with like 4 fast turns, and it was amazing. It was like Powerville population Blink Blade. All right, anyways, moving on to move here. So move, well above average. You can see an average when a character uses a move ability, the Blink Blade is averaging 3.3 almost movement spaces versus 2.75, which in the average. No surprise there. A lot of moves per scenario. That's kind of the Blink Blade's character. They try to get in, make attacks, and move out. Very hit and run approach, so well above the average in total moves per scenario. Okay, now damage per round. This is really the stat of all stats. This incorporates everything. So those turns that you can't reach a monster because they move and you don't get the attack off that you want, or you only get a basic attack, or when you play top row actions like heals, persistent abilities, things like that you don't get any damage that round, it all is factored into this. So I think this is one of the best all-encompassing stats that you can actually measure a character against, because at the end of the day, this is a dungeon crawl we're playing, and 80% of the cards do damage to monsters, so we are trying to kill monsters. And you can see here, Blink Blade's performance, damage per round is just exceptional. A couple other things to note about damage per round, that we didn't capture any overkills. So if the monster had 1 health and you did 4, it still only counted as 1. So it kind of normalizes the data to what's actually happening in the game. So let's look at the Blink Blade. Levels 2 through 6 got progressively better. A little small jump, or a small drop from 4 to 5. I think that's just a blip in the data. Probably had something to do with the mission design that was played at level 5s. You can still see though, performance very good. Look at level 6, 5.86, way above the level 6 average of 4.75. So it leads me to believe that at higher levels, the Blink Blade's only going to just exponentially get better and better and better. Really good modifier deck that usually you start to see that kick in somewhere around level 4, 5, or 6. I think we really started to see it here at level 6, and that's that big jump. But overall, mostly above average. 3.3, well above the 2.85, 3.6, 4.0. I think if we had some different missions at level 5, you really wouldn't have seen this as low as it is. But it shows a little below average, and that's how the characters kind of balance out. Max damage per round, 18, ties our highest of all characters, so that's good. Attacks per round, this is really where the Blink Blade excels. So 1.4 above the average of 1.2. Now I know that doesn't sound like a huge jump, but it really is. I mean, a lot of the cards that the Blink Blade has, cards like Twin Strikes, cards like Cascading Reaction, even though it's a loss, our character was using that, our player was using that often. I know at the higher levels, Stab Them All. I really think that is a huge reason that their level 6 damage was so high. And I mean, bottom of cards like precision timing, where you can move, attack, move. It's just a lot of attacks per round, especially with the bottom row attacks and then multiple top row attacks, and that really adds up. Damage per attack, 2.95, a little below the norm. Again, the Blink Blade's getting its damage not on an individual attack basis, and that's what damage per attack is. So the norm's 3, but you can see just a little bit below the norm, but then on top of that, getting more attacks per round is where the true damage per round came from. Looking at healing, when you do a heal with the Blink Blade, a little below, well below the average of 2.3. That's the total amount that's healed. Not a great healer. I don't think there's any surprise there. Heals performed per scenario, about 1.6. So it's just a little below the average of 1.8. So you can see there's not a ton of healing going on here. I think that's no surprise. There's only a couple heal cards for the Blink Blade. And then total healing per scenario, roughly about 4.5 points of damage. So he's healing about 4.5, well below the normal of about 6.8 per character. Obviously, this fluctuates all over depending on the characters. You get healers, you get non-healers, things like that. So take that average with a grain of salt. All right, damage taken per scenario, 14.4. This is above average. I don't think that's a surprise there. This is a squishy character. When you do take attacks, you take a lot of damage. 7.3 attacks taken per scenario, just a little bit above the average of 6.5. Nothing crazy there. It is a melee character. Yes, you are trying to move in and out and kind of hit and run, sort of weave in type of approach to the game, but you're still going to take a lot of attacks, or more attacks, because you're a melee character. And then damage taken per attack per round. This stat is really important because it basically tells you that when you do take damage, how much are you actually taking in that round? So all the rounds that you don't take attacks or any damage or anything is excluded. So squishy character, 2.03, just slightly above the average of 1.97, kind of to be expected. There's not a lot, especially from an item standpoint, that the Blink Blade can do to prevent damage. Did get some use out of Ward. That was really big on drive recharge. I know that helped out a lot. So there's a couple little things that he can do in his cards here, but for the most part, squishy character, taking a lot of heat. Nothing on the support side, doesn't provide any poison or brittle or anything like that that would add additional damage to the group. Nothing on crowd control, not a lot from the Blink Blade as far as immobilize. I know he has a couple here and there, but crowd control, we measure it here anytime that a monster would have normally attacked and they do not attack. So that never happened for the Blink Blade. Average rounds between rest, almost right at the average, so about 3.7, round up 3.8 rounds between rest. That's very normal for all characters, as you can see, compared to the normal here. We did have a high exhaustion rate, 6 times over 17 scenarios, about 35%, which you can see kind of ties back to the damage taken is about 14 per scenario on average. So that's well above their life and heals per scenario. So not that great at 4. So makes sense. Exhausted a lot. Again, squishy character. That was just sort of how. I think there's some play style things in there. Our Blink Blade was very aggressive. Paid off because the amount of damage that they were doing and the ability to, best defense is a better offense in Frosthaven. Eliminate guys, especially when you can go fast and get them off the board. Did a phenomenal job of that. That was really where the Blink Blade excelled. Loot, 1.87, a little below the average. That could be a play style thing. I'm not really sure. Not a lot of loot cards either. Again, Blink Blade has a lot of movement, so you could end on loot, which was good, but I think a lot of times too you have to move out of the way of the monsters, and you're more focused on that than you are on getting loot. 8.3, really average on experience. This is before bonus experience, so this is just card-driven experience. But right at the average there, good. And then objective, 46%, one of the lowest characters at getting the objective compared to 61% normal. Not really sure why there. That could be a playstyle thing of the person that was playing him, or just unlucky. Got cards that didn't work for the Blink Blade and didn't help out as far as getting objectives, but very low there. So you could think that the Blink Blade, if they got some more objectives, their stats might even be a little bit better because that modifier deck would have improved even faster. But you can still see that around level 4, 5, and 6, there is absolutely a jump that has happened there. So, all right, guys, that's the stats on the Blink Blade. Let us know what you think in the comments. We got a lot more stat videos coming. If you like these, let us know because I think it's a cool way to compare characters. All right, until next time, beat it, nerds.